Yo, live on the air. Chicka-cha.
Hello, everyone.
How's everybody doing?
Well, I'm
Uh,
good. Is Nick coming on?
he's going to. He will. I think he will let me know when he's available. He's got to get home from work,
Oh, okay.
so just waiting for him to say that he's good to go. But yeah, so we're gonna chat about because we don't have a lot of Valiant books this week to talk about. So we're gonna talk a bit about.
There is a
Um,
little bit of news here and there, but nothing huge.
yeah, we can talk about that stuff, and then we are going to do the big old giveaway. And then for whoever wants to stick around after that, we're going to talk about some other stuff.
These two
But yeah,
things
why
right
don't,
here behind me. I don't
yeah,
know if they're showing up on my end, but these two lucky things will be going home with some people.
indeed they
So,
will.
yeah.
I
And the
think that's
guy from
pretty cool.
Enlights, he is not eligible to win. I think he's already got a whole bunch, though.
Who?
Enlights is in the chat. I was just making a
Oh,
joke.
I missed
Ha
it.
ha
I
ha
completely
ha.
missed it. Yeah, they're not eligible. They probably want other people to get them anyway. So,
Yes.
but I do want to thank them once again for sending us these lights so that we can give some of them away. Of course, selfishly, I wanted to have the Bloodshot one, and I have it hanging out in my office at work, which is super awesome.
Well, still, we have the Exo Manowar light and the Faith light, and I will mail these things out as soon as I have shipping information of who is receiving them. I'm paying the shipping. It's totally cool. I'm just really excited to get these out to somebody so that we can do this contest. We always like doing contests on the show, and
Yeah, giving stuff away
it's one of the more
rules.
things, more fun things that we do that kind of change things up for us. So, very much looking forward to giving these away.
But yeah, we'll chat for a little bit about the other news stuff that happened. Give people some time to get in here, and then we will give some lights away. So the first thing I was going to mention that just happened is, well, one thing, Vin Diesel posted a video on Instagram, and he actually talked about the fact that he's getting ready to play Bloodshot. I don't know if that happened before our last episode. I don't think it did. But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, it seems like it would be cool to get a lot more information about what's going on with the Bloodshot movie, but the fact that he's actually like said the word Bloodshot and referenced getting ready for it makes me happy. So
Yeah,
small
I just
victories.
realized I still haven't watched that video of him talking about it, but it is really exciting to have like a big name actor talking about the property, and it's gonna happen. I think at this point, like we're gonna have a Bloodshot movie, which is really exciting. Um, I know there's some details that it seems like they keep getting brought up, whether we're dealing with like the Ray Garrison version, or if it's the Angelo Mortelli version, or things like that. So it'll be a little bit nicer once we get a little bit farther into like probably post production, prior to when it is actually released, to get that kind of information about what's really going on with the movie. But this is exciting, man. It's exciting to see that we're getting a Valiant movie.
Yeah, that's actually happening. Another piece of information that just came out recently is there were some promotions at Valiant HQ. Um, the probably the most notable of which is Adam Freeman, who's been involved in the company since before the first book was published. So I know a lot of people have been worried about turnover since the DMG buyout, and the fact that he's not only still there, but he's actually moving up in the company. I take as a reassuring thing. And then the fact that, the other, if you look at the positions that the other people being promoted are being put into, it makes me feel confident about the fact that Valiant is going to still care about their publishing line. They're not just going to forget about comics. So, just a quick rundown. Um, Adam Freeman has been promoted to Vice President of Sales. Peter Stern is Director of International Publishing and Merchandising. Victoria McNally is Senior Marketing and Communications Manager, and Annie Rosa is Sales Operations Manager. So that tells me that they're going to continue pushing to, build Valiant as a brand, to get the comic books out. And I really hope that This just means more things, more big things for Valiant as a comic publisher.
Yeah, like I was really glad that you brought this up because I was going to ask you to. But it's a great sign, because I know that right now we're kind of dealing with like an era with the company of like doom and gloom, with Dinesh being gone and Hunter leaving, and it seems like a lot of the creators that we're familiar with are maybe stepping aside, things like that, or we haven't heard of any people that we really like getting additional work. But this is a really strong sign, I think, of things to come with the company, especially for Adam. Adam knows how to sell books. I think he's really good with talking to shops. He's been on that side of the counter before too. Trying to sell books. So it's good for him to do that. I don't know too much about the international markets and how they are with Valiant. So I don't know how well. I don't even know who did that job prior to Pete Stern. But I'm happy for everyone though. It's a great sign. Because we need we need that kind of news right about now, And I thought when that news came out that it was actually like a really, really positive thing to have happen. And plus, I mean, lately we've had, um, oh my gosh, I'm blanking. Mel and Carl both getting added to the company, and they're great to talk with. So it's good to see that the people who are still here are starting to move up.
Yeah. And then as has already been mentioned in the live chat by Hoosier, um, Britannia is we're getting another Britannia, and I can't off the top of my head. I need to look it up again. What was um what was the name of the new series? Do you remember? Are we
Oh my
just
gosh, man. I don't know. I would look it up on my iPad, but my iPad is so slow.
here? It is. It's Lost Eagles of Rome,
Yeah.
which I don't know what that means. I'm kind of curious to see what that means. Now, on the plus side, what's really nice is Milligan is still going to be writing. He's written all the Britannia stuff. So, at least from that writing perspective, we're still going to have, um, we're still going to have the consistent approach to the series. And then on the flip side, we're going to have Robert Gill taking over art duties. So, Juan Jose Reap did both of the two previous minis. So it'll be weird to see a different artist come in. But I mean, Robert Gill's a good artist. I can't really complain.
Yeah, I thought I made a comment on the post on our Get Valiant page on Facebook about this. I like Robert Gill now, and I used to not be too hot on his art, but I always think that ever since that Exo Manowar storyline, the Kill List, I thought his art was actually really good in that, and I've liked the books that I've seen him illustrate since then. So I don't think it's going to be necessarily like a bad thing to have him illustrate it. I think he actually can do the ancient look. He's good on like Eternal Warrior, things like that. So I think that like a book like Britannia, he's got the chops for. It's kind of sad to me that like we're not getting any more Juan Jose Rip, just because does he have anything else going on at the company? I mean, Rip's Rip or Reap, whatever his last name is. He's my favorite artist at Valiant. So if he's done, I'm super bummed. But at the same time, Robert Gill's no slouch. So I'm not going to be too bummed on that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a Milligan and Gill. It's a great creative team. Definitely can't complain about that. I'm not sure if we know who's going to be coloring it, but there are a lot of really awesome colorists that work with Valiant. Like Dollhouse. I don't know if Jordy Belair might get involved. We'll have to see. But yeah,
Probably
they've got some
whoever
really good
normally
colorists.
colors Robert Gill. Seems
Who's
like a lot of
that?
people. It's probably going to be whoever still colors Robert Gill's work, just whoever he's comfortable with.
Sure, sure. Well, either way, I mean, whether it's Dollhouse, Belair, Baron, there are a lot of different people who could color it, or might be somebody coming in with him. I'm sure it'll be awesome. Um, but yeah, I mean, I've really liked, um, the characters from that book. I've really liked the tone of the book, kind of taking that approach to look at the line between magic and science. And obviously, the line is a lot blurrier when you're setting it back in ancient times in Rome. So I think that makes for a really interesting story. Um,
I'm glad it's
And
happening too because I had actually asked the question at WonderCon about whether or not we were going to get more Britannia, and Adam Freeman just didn't look like he could really quite answer it correctly. He just said like yes, like well one day you'll get it. So I'm glad that that day is actually a lot sooner than I had anticipated from his answer because I think I've made no secrets about it on this show. Britannia is one of my favorite things that the company does, and I'm glad that Peter Milligan had something that he got to bounce back on. Like people don't look too fondly upon like what he did on Shadow Man, so I'm glad that like people really like Britannia.
yeah, yeah. So his Valiant legacy isn't just bombing Shadow Man. um, and then also we're obviously getting more Shadow Man right now anyway, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and
Um,
they announced that there's going to be a second printing because
yeah, that's definitely awesome. I'm
sales
always
are
on
pretty
board.
good. Sales were around 40,000 copies for issue one. So second printing on its way sometime later this month. That's great, and I wish I knew a little bit more about how things worked on Valiant's end as far as like how they decided to do the pre-order editions, because I know like Ninjak's not going to get them anymore, but Ninjak is like the best book that Valiant has going right now. So it's kind
Yeah,
of weird that they wouldn't do something like that on that book unless the sales are just not as strong. Whereas they've already committed to doing 11 issues in pre-order edition for this book for Shadow Man. So I do wish I could kind of understand like the reasoning between doing it, but I mean it is what it is. I just wish that they would do it with Ninja just or Ninja K. Sorry, Ninja K.
yeah. Get it right.
Gosh, come on. But uh, we liked the first issue of Shadow Man, and I think that the series looks like it's gonna be pretty awesome. For at least the covers I've seen, they haven't really given out too much information about where this book's gonna be at, but I've seen some covers I think up to like issue 8, and they look pretty awesome. So I'm hoping like for a lot of crazy stuff with this book, because I think this is a book that like it works with if you have a little bit of craziness you add to it. You can get dark. It'd be cool to have a super dark book again. I mean, like because Harbinger and Imperium were pretty dark in tone, so it'd be
Sure.
nice to get back to something like that. Something a little bit serious, a little bit dark. I feel like the fan base really eats that kind of stuff up.
Well, I mean, when we got the original Shadow Man with Justin Jordan writing it, I thought that that was almost a horror book, with
Oh
Mr.
yeah,
Twist and, I mean, that was essentially a horror book with some voodoo elements. And I know Andy Diggle has said that he's really going to focus on the voodoo aspect. Um, so yeah, I'm really interested to see, how it comes across tone wise, because yeah, I'm definitely on board for um, a Shadow Man book with a horror sensibility. I think that that would be awesome. So I'm
yeah,
definitely on board with that. Um, yeah, I think Mr. Twist was an awesome character. Actually, bringing him up, I think, yeah, I wish Justin Jordan would have stuck around with Shadow Man. I really liked what he did with the character.
yeah.
Um,
Me too.
yeah,
And he seemed like he liked working with Valiant, which is always nice too.
I just really like him as a writer. I think he's a great writer. I mean, he's done a lot of really awesome stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
he would be a great idea or topic, I guess maybe that would be the correct term, for one of these like last like end of segment or end of episode segments that we've been doing lately where we've kind of gone off the beaten path of Valiant and talked about some either like books we like that aren't from Valiant or creators. He'd be a good guy to talk about, I think, because I do like a lot of his work too. He's a good guy on social media, but I just think he does a lot of cool stuff. I love Spread. Spread was awesome.
yeah, I'm really bummed that that's done. I'm really bummed that Spread is over because that was a great book.
Yeah.
Um,
And
so I'm
what
going to
he's
try
got a
to
new
do
book. He's got a new book at Image. I can't remember what it's called. I haven't bought it.
Death to Love or Death of Love.
Something like that, yeah. And he's also got Brimstone coming up with the DC New Age of Heroes line.
Yeah, that actually came out yesterday. I haven't gotten to read that yet.
Oh, it already came out. Dang, I was just at the
Yeah,
shop too.
it started yesterday.
Well,
Hoosier apparently has checked out Death of Love, and he's saying that it's awesome so far. I have not read any of that, so I'm not exactly sure how that is turning out, but it's Justin Jordan. I'm sure it's awesome. He also did another book about a family of assassins that looked like it was pretty cool. I didn't get to read it, but it looked cool. And then he did a book called Savage things, and that was amazing. That was a really,
For
really good book.
Vertigo.
Yeah, that was a great Vertigo book. I would totally recommend if anybody is into um, if anybody's into Justin Jordan, if you're into like secret assassin type stuff, yeah, that stuff was really cool.
So I
Um,
saw on the chat that Travis was asking about Backways. I think Backways is a book from Aftershock. I haven't read it yet. I don't know anything about that. In fact, I'm lagging way behind on anything coming out of coming from Aftershock. I just haven't been keeping up too much with them. I've been trying to.
yeah, yeah, I haven't checked any of. I really haven't read much Aftershock, which would be good. I'm gonna bring
I
Nick
think
in.
there's some books that you would probably really dig, man. Like they have a couple of really good books. They have one called Baby Teeth about like the Antichrist, like a baby Antichrist being
I
born and
actually
all.
have a couple covers from that because Brett Peoples did some covers for it, so I bought
Yeah.
some stuff from him.
They also did this book called Dark Ark, which is about like
I read the first
Noah.
issue of Dark Ark. Hey, Nick.
Hold
Oh,
on real
hey.
quick. Hey, what's up?
Oh,
Um,
hey, what's up?
I was gonna say Dark Ark is about like a satanic Noah's Ark.
Yeah, yeah, it's like
It's
there's the regular arc with Noah and all the regular animals, and then the dark arc has the mythological creatures and
yeah,
stuff. And
all the
yeah,
stuff
I
that
read
like
the first.
Noah was not allowed to save. It's pretty rad.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um, but okay, so we can maybe talk a little bit more Valiant stuff instead of just Justin Jordan and Aftershock.
Whoops.
So the only thing that came out from Valiant yesterday was the Eternity trade, which I still need to sit down and read the whole thing front to back. I really have only read it as far as like as it was coming out. And I really feel like front to back would be a good way to read that story. Nick, you've read Eternity, haven't you?
Oh, of course. Yeah. Yeah. That's the book that got me into Valiant.
Yeah, well, Divinity was just amazing. And there was like stuff that I forgot about that was in the early Divinity stuff that kind of came full circle and became relevant again in Eternity. And I thought that was really cool.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no. I when you were talking about reading it front to back, I did that with Divinity 1 and 2. I like right before Divinity 2 came out, I reread Divinity 1 because I had like just gotten caught up with like the modern Valiant stuff. And it was pretty cool. I think that's a good idea though. I need to sit down and actually like read all of it like through eternity and whatnot. Like just one sitting would be pretty cool. I mean, like it seems like it all links up and like Kent has really thought about the whole thing very detailed. So man.
How about you, Josh? Have you read the whole Eternity storyline front to back yet? Like as one
Um,
sitting or?
Not yet. I've had to kind of go back and forth on a couple of things with the series when we were doing our weekly review of it. Uh, because certain things would happen, and I would just be like, "Oh, I need to look back at this," And I was trying to see when with David Camp, especially like whenever the David Camp stuff happened in the last issue of Eternity, I was like, "Man, I feel like I need to like go back and look at the first issue of Divinity, or even that first series, really, because he did play quite a part in it, and just see if anything was really hinted at." And I didn't really pick up on anything that I thought kind of gave the hand away, so to say. Of like, oh, obviously that if I would have paid attention to like this thing, then you know I would have known all along that David Camp was like going to be like a player in this book eventually. And I remember at one point people on Valiant comic fans on Facebook saying like, why introduce David Camp if we're not going to get more of him? And it was just like one of those like lost threads almost with the Divinity books, but it was just one of those things that was more of like a longer task at hand that we just had to kind of wait to play out. But
I think it's
I
nice
haven't
when
read.
stuff that gets like planted in the beginning takes a while to come to fruition because, I mean, that makes the story feel more organic and not every setup has to pay off immediately.
I know that if I had to like say rank the series, I would probably put Eternity as like my second favorite. I like the first Divinity series the best, and then I probably like Eternity almost as much, just because I think that there's a lot of new ground with the character broken in that book. There's a much larger cast introduced into the Valiant universe, and I think that there's a ton of potential with all the stuff that's kind of brought up within the book. And I'm really hoping that at some point we do get some sort of announcement about something more happening with the book. It seems like right now, like talking to like David Barron and Ryan Wynn, they didn't know about anything going on with it. Trevor Harrison's doing Exo Manowar for 4 issues, and really, we just haven't heard anything. Like there hasn't been a peep about like when this is going to follow up. So hopefully it's soon.
Yeah.
I've been a huge fan of all the Divinity books and Divinity stories. It's one of my favorite properties that Valiant does, which is great because it's a newer thing. It's something new that they've kind of grown in house as opposed to something that piggybacks heavily upon like the 90s. Like it's not quite Solar. I mean, I get like it takes kind of like the spot of Solar, but it's not really Solar at all. But
Yeah.
I really dug it. I hope they say something more about it at some point.
Well, something that you brought up that I think is interesting, Josh, is, kind of ranking the Divinity stories. And I mean, where are you at on that, Nick? I mean, which would be your favorite? Where would you put Eternity in that list?
I was just kind of thinking about that, like while he was talking about it, and honestly, Eternity is definitely up there. I feel like it's I mean, like it, two and Stalinverse really just were kind of like this progression of like these like kind of crazy ideas and whatnot. Whereas Divinity One and Eternity to me were more like character driven personal stories. So to me, those kind of I don't want to say like transcend because I really do like thoroughly enjoy like every single one. Like and all of them have like their own strengths and like I've just been anytime that book is coming out, it's my favorite thing that's coming out of Valiant like at the time. So I mean like it's like so it's kind of hard for me to rank them in that regard, but I would definitely put one and Eternity above two and Stalinverse, but that doesn't I like I said, I don't want to diminish those two in either way. But and also I was gonna say too, correct me if I'm wrong, but I know we haven't heard anything about like a new Divinity book or a story or anything like that, but I remember I think it was before two came out. Kent was doing interviews about Divinity, and he said that he had four stories in mind. And then when he got to Eternity, he said that Eternity was not one of those four stories.
Well,
Well,
hopefully that
that's
means there's one
interesting.
more that they're going to be working on soon. But I mean, the series did just wrap up, and it is a bit of impatience on my part to be like, where's
Yeah.
another Divinity story at? Come on, man, it's only
Well,
been a
they
month.
well they spoiled us because we got three like right after two in the same year. So I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, it's like
but I don't
That
think
was
they could have
pretty
waited
quick.
on that because if they would have delayed Stalinverse, I think that would have really like kind of taken a little bit of the shine off of it. Where like at least when you go from like that close from like Divinity 2 to then into Stalinverse, it almost does feel like it's part of the same story. You don't forget a lot of it, and I think it just kept it really fresh. I mean, at least for me, it kept it really fresh in my mind. Where I didn't have to go back and read a bunch of stuff about it, But I don't know. I am a bit impatient. It's one of those books where I always just feel like just give us an ongoing. I mean, like I know that we constantly get one every year, but I always just wish like put someone else on XO. Let's get Camp full time on Divinity. Those books, they're just so wild. They're just so wild in nature that like it, there's nothing like it to me. So that's why I just think it's like one of those properties that like Valiant does. All the stories feel really fresh and original. Just keep it coming.
yeah, I
I
mean, it kind of encompasses like everything that I really like about comics. Like it's really just kind of out there and has some really deep, like thought provoking ideas about like the universe and like grandiose things, but it all does it around like a personal story of someone's like emotional journey. And like that's I mean, that's just that's an amazing style of story. And it takes a really awesome talent to be able to pull it off. And I really feel like that team has pulled it off every time that they've done it. So I mean, yeah, no, I'd be down for an ongoing for sure.
I mean, the thing to me though about an ongoing like with Divinity is I feel like those stories are such large concepts that I almost feel like doing an ongoing it would dilute it almost, because I feel like there's such depth to the stories that I wouldn't want to yeah, I don't know. I feel like that wouldn't that would be my worry. Now, is it like a guarantee that an ongoing that would happen? No, but I just feel like I would rather get sporadic stories as they're worth telling, as opposed to just make sure there's a Divinity book on the shelf every month. You know what I
Oh
mean?
no, I 100% agree with what you just said. I'm just selfish, and I would like it to be an ongoing.
Yeah, actually me
So,
too, man.
so for me, I would actually say that one is my favorite Divinity book, and then I actually would say that I liked Divinity 2 more than I liked Eternity. So I would go 1, 2, Eternity, then Stalinverse. And it's not that Stalinverse is bad. I just don't think it quite lives up to the quality of the other two or other three stories with these characters. Um, I don't know. I mean, time will tell if we get more, and it's entirely possible that, if we get an Eternity 2 and we find out more about the characters introduced in Eternity, it's entirely possible that I could then like that story a lot more because, getting more invested in those characters and so on. So,
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, like I don't know. I really like Stalinverse, but like it's kind of odd that that was the one that they treated like an event and gave tie-ins to, but I still feel like that one needed more issues, like to be more fleshed out. I think that's like my one complaint about the Divinity series is that like I actually really like Stalinverse. I'd honestly probably put it above two a little bit, but I still feel like that one should have had it could have had like two more issues maybe, and like to really like flesh it out a bit more.
And I feel one thing about Stalinverse that's kind of uh, not bad necessarily, but like one of those things that kind of gets hyped up was all the supporting cast that the book had with like the Red Legend all those characters like Kosi the Deathless and we haven't seen any of them at all anywhere else. And I guess that we're gonna get Kosti in Ninja K, but the way that those characters were like hyped up by Valiant was that they were gonna be major players and we're gonna see so much of them. And we haven't seen anything from them since then. So I'm kind of curious if they ended up not feeling like they wanted to do anything with them quite yet. If we're gonna get something at some point, maybe we don't ever see them again. But
I'd love more Red Legend, man. Maybe that's just me, but I
yeah,
think that'd be awesome.
I kind of
So,
oh go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say, I don't know about you guys, but maybe we can get into giving a light away.
do it, man.
Should we do that? So right now, I have a list of 8 people that are eligible, and those 8 people are Sean Hayes, Adam S., Anthony Port, the Bald Moose, William Pace, David from Wyoming, Travis, and Hoodoo TV. And we will give that faith box away first, and then the
And this is what
Exo
they
Man
look like.
Noir.
You want to win these. And they're so cool.
Yeah, they're really friggin' awesome. Like I said, I got my Bloodshot one hanging out at work, and I absolutely love it. Also, something else I want to mention that Inline had mentioned before, that they're actually looking into what the next set will be. So go to their website and check that out. Get active, and hey, you know what? If you don't win one for free, they're still available. You can go get one from Inlights. So I would definitely recommend it if you don't win one. And even if you do win one, go buy one because they're friggin' awesome. So I am going to randomize this list of 8 people. I'm going to click the button 3 times, and whoever is number 1, as long as you're in the chat, then you will get to win the Faith Light. So, all right.
And real quick before you pick that, if you win, whoever wins this, contact me on Facebook or however you wish to, and send me your address, and I'll get this out as soon as I can.
Awesome. There was a request for batteries. Sorry, no. You're probably gonna have to buy your own batteries. All right. So drum roll. First randomization. Second randomization. And I'm going to click it one more time. Whoever's on top, you get the faith box. And that is going to be Travis.
Ooh.
Travis, give me some indication that you're still in the chat and you win. And if you're not still in the chat, then it'll go to number 2. So, Travis, get in that faith box. Brabda. I don't know. I think that's awesome. I think that I would like to see more faith. I think that would be pretty freaking cool. Is
I don't see
Travis in
Travis
there?
in the chat.
I know he's not commenting. Travis, you need to get on this right now, man, or I'm moving on. I'm gonna move on, Travis.
Classic Travis, you know.
Classic
Oh, with
Travis.
Hollywood Travis. Come on.
Oh, this is what you get for bad mouthing DMG. You miss your opportunity. Where you at, Travis? Are you still in there? Oh man, yeah. Bald Moose is saying he's on Facebook, but we said specifically that you had to be present to win, and I'm not going to wait here all night to see if he gets back in here. I know he was in here. That's why I put him on my list here, but because he
I
was
think he dropped
active
off
when we.
right. I had the participation list up. I think he dropped off like right when you said it. Like I think that's when he disappeared off my, at least on my iPad, which my iPad is not really great for this. I'm just gonna say that.
So, you know what? I think that he might have missed it. I'm sorry, Travis. Sorry, man. I don't know what to say. But we're going to have to move on to number 2 to win that faith box. And that actually, hopefully he's still here, is now it's going to go to Sean Hayes. Sean, are you around? Because you got this if you're here. Or you know what they're doing? They're just holding out so they can win that friggin' Exo light. We're not going to do that. We're not playing those games. Somebody's getting this faith light. Sean, are you still in here? Oh my goodness gracious. People win stuff and then they don't want to comment. What's the deal? What is the deal? Just trying to give stuff
I can't
away.
even get the list of participants up on my end.
I'm just looking at, oh, there he is. Sean Hayes. He is active and involved. You have just won a free Faith in Lights box. And yeah, I think that's awesome. I would totally want that. And
So,
then
Sean, if you're on Facebook, find me somehow on, I'm not hard to find, but get a hold of me and I'll get that sent out to you. I package very well, by the way, too. Just so you know.
That's true. It's true. Mine came with no damage. My bloodshot light came with no damage.
And I was actually worried about yours because it came in the box that I used. I don't think was very strong.
It was a large box, and there was a lot of extra space.
A lot of bubble wrap, I thought, though.
And then okay, so now we still have one more light to give away, and that is the Exo Manowar Rocks box. And I'm going to do another 3. I'm picking the number 3. There's not really any logic behind it. That's just a random number of times to randomize this. So we're going to do 1, and we're going to do 2, and then, all right, one more. Whoever's on top is going to win this. Adam S. has just won the Exo Manowar in Lights Rocks box. Adam, tell me you're still here. You just commented. Tell me that you didn't leave already.
Adam, be here so that you can get your light.
Nobody's comment, and there's a bit of a delay, so maybe that's part of the problem why they don't comment right away. Because I'm just getting dots from Hoosier.
But I still don't see Travis. So Travis is still not.
I don't know what happened to Travis. He just bailed on us. We'll get him something. We'll get him something though.
Yeah.
I'll send something to him. I don't care. Where is Adam? And Adam's not commenting now. He literally just commented right before.
In the chat, it shows him on there.
I know. I just want one comment from him confirming that he realizes that he's just won an Exo Manowar light. Maybe he doesn't. God damn it. He was just here. He was here not to win. Like he doesn't want to participate now that he's won. Nothing? Seriously?
My chat's not working. I can tell you that.
Your chat's not working?
My chat's not working, no.
There he is.
Oh, there he is. Now he presses question marks as I message him. Yeah, maybe he was on a snack break. Adam, boom, done. You just won Exo Manowar box. You need to get a hold of Josh, give him your address, and he will send that out to you. And there you go. Yeah, Adam S. Yes, you have won. I think that he just didn't even realize we were talking about him. Yes, you won. Get a hold of Josh on Facebook. He will hit you up, and you will have your own free Exo Manowar Light. Please post it up. If you would love, both Sean and Adam getting these boxes. If you guys could, when you get them, try them out. See what they're, how you like them. And please feel free to post. Leave a review on Inlight's Facebook page. Go to their website. Check out what they're working on for the next set of Valiant lights. And I think that that's really awesome that they are willing to, let us give away lights for them and kind of get their product out there. And a lot of us want more stuff from Valiant, and this is a good way to make that happen. Support when they do put awesome merchandise out for us.
Yeah, and real quick, I want to give a big thanks to Henry, Henry Starling, who kind of works behind the scenes with Eric and I. He does all the stuff with Outright Geekery. He has been in contact with Inlights for it seems like months. He's just been really talkative with them. And he was just like, "Don't you guys worry. Like, I'm gonna get these things sent out to you guys." And he's just gone kind of above and beyond with this thing. So big thanks to Henry. I know that he's a pretty selfless dude. He's not looking to get anything out of anything, but Henry's awesome. He did this thing for us, and I really appreciate it, Henry. Thanks.
Yeah. So we'll have to do another giveaway soon. I know we've had some conversations.
We do, and if you've been paying attention to some of the other Valiant podcasts right now, a lot of them have been doing giveaways concerning the Ninjak versus the Valiant Universe card game.
Oh, yes.
And the nice thing is I won't have to mail that out. But the people who did that game, Overworld Games, they did contact me after WonderCon. They said that they had a copy that they would send to a winner. So we'll probably do that one maybe next week or the week after. We'll figure it out. Me and Eric will talk about it, and we'll figure out how we're going to do our contest. But look for that one. I just wanted to wait until the dust settled with everybody else doing that giveaway, just because it did seem like a couple podcasts were doing them. So hopefully some of you guys, maybe you enter that contest like with only the Valiant, or I can't remember the other one that was doing it. Maybe it's Collecting Valiant. I can't remember, but whoever else was doing it, I've seen a few that are. Hopefully one of you guys win, and then come back for ours in a week or two.
I know I already, since I can't win in our giveaway of the Ninjak versus Valiant Universe card game, I already went and pre-ordered one, so I'm super stoked about that.
Oh, and real quick on that, if you were someone who pre-ordered the game, Overworld is doing a thing where there's an extra card it's like a I can't remember what it's
artifact
called.
Or whatever.
Yeah, but there's one extra card that they will give you as part of your pre-order. If by chance you didn't get it, just contact them and see what you can do to get it. But I've seen pictures of people all over the place posting their little card that they got, and mine's somewhere. I emailed them about it, and they just want to know where I had ordered it from. So
yeah, I know Sean had posted that he got his, so that's really cool.
Yeah.
But now I'm sorry, I'm getting caught up in the live chat here. But yeah, I'm really stoked to try that game out. I know you said you had a good time with it, Josh. So I'm stoked to try that out.
One thing I would say about it is the first time you play it, you won't play it the same way the second time, because you'll play way more conservative the first time. And this is what all of us who played it at WonderCon thought. We all thought, man, you really play it like as a group, but you would actually play it the second time more like an individual. It'll make more sense when you get the game. But it's pretty fun. I wish I could figure out how to play the Catalyst Labs game. It's just I need someone smarter than me to show me how. But
it's really complicated.
I only have so much room in my head for RPG rules, so
yeah. No, that Catalyst Labs card game is you have to lay out this huge square of cards, and then you're constantly shifting rows and columns, and it gets really complicated and really messy really, really fast.
Oh man,
yeah, it's kind of tough.
It's way cool. When I opened it up, I was like, this thing is awesome. But I've tried to read through it, and it's just a little too complicated for me. I'm just dumb. I'll admit, I'm not a bright guy. But Ninjak versus Valiant Universe card game is way awesome, and it's way fun, and there's lots of cool art all over that game. Just comic book art. Lots of photos, like the really good looking photos that we had of the covers of some of the photo covers of the Ninja TV show. So yeah, it's awesome. I can't wait for my copy to show up.
Yeah.
And I don't even know when that thing comes out. Like I know like Amazon listed it as sometime this month.
Yeah, the
And
pre-orders all say that they'll ship by like the 28th or something like that. So
yeah.
hopefully that's when it's coming out. I definitely want that. Um, but yeah. So not really a whole lot of other Valiant stuff to talk about. I'm really hoping that whenever the next set of Inlights Rocks boxes is released, hopefully we can do a giveaway again at that point and get more people interested and involved with what they're doing and the product that they're putting out, because it is really freaking cool. It can be a nightlight if you've got kids. It can be just a cool wall decoration. Like I said, I've got it in my office at work. I think it's freaking awesome. So I think it's really cool.
I really like mine. I play
Yeah,
around with this all the time. It's very cool.
it's so bright. Like it's weirdly bright. Like you don't really expect it to be as bright as it was. Um, but yeah, so anybody who hasn't gone to the Inlights website to vote for what their next series of Valiant Rocks boxes are, definitely go to their website. Check them out. You can Google them, whatever. You'll find the website pretty easily. And
Hey,
I guess they actually, it was mentioned in the live chat. I know David was saying that he'd love to see a Harbinger light, and Inlights is saying that they've actually got a Harbinger prototype at their office, and that they're saying it looks really awesome. So I think that that would be really cool. I think a lot of people really love love the Harbinger characters. So I think a Harbinger light would be really sweet, especially with Harbinger Wars 2 coming.
yeah. I would say like what would be the coolest thing for me, and I'm just throwing this out there in light since you're on our podcast. The Shadow Man face. I mean, how rad would that be? Just that
Or the
white
Shadow
art.
Man logo, right? Like kind of
Yeah,
like the Valiant logo. I think the Shadow Man logo would be really cool as well.
yeah, but or either like the symbol like from the old '90s one where it just kind of shows like the whole body black and white, or even just like the mask how we have now. But one of those, something like that, so rad. Shadow. I mean, I just said it because like Shadow Man's definitely one of my favorite Valiant characters, but it would be awesome.
That'd be
Yeah, I'm
pretty
not
good.
going to argue.
Sean backs me up on that one, so he knows what's up.
And he's a winner, so you know that if he's
And he's not saying that because he won. I know him like that. He's not saying you don't know him like I do. Hell yeah, Sean.
Man.
Way to have my back.
So not a whole lot of other Valiant stuff to talk about. I was going to say if we could get into, I wish we had books to review all that, but Inlight says they'll talk to Valiant about it, Josh. So they got your back too. They'll make that an option.
They're just getting better and better, man. Let me tell you.
I know, Nick, like you said, you love Divinity, and that was a great time to have you come on when we could talk about the Eternity trade. But the other reason that we wanted to have you on is because we don't have much in the way of Valiant stuff to talk about. You, for quite a while, have been singing the praises of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers comic. So I want to apologize to anybody who's just here to listen to us talk about Valiant, because we are switching gears to talk about the goddamn Power Rangers. And I was at the comic shop today, and the guy behind the counter is a new guy, and he's like, "Yeah, I haven't been reading a lot of comics. I want to get into it." And I was telling him, like, here's some stuff that's been really good. I was telling him about how awesome Valiant is, and I was picking up copies of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers number 25, and I was like, look, I know I'm a 32-year-old man, but the Power Rangers comic is pretty fucking cool right now. And as weird as that is to say, it's true.
So I want to chime in real quick on that because I'm a 41-year-old guy. Okay, I'll be 42 in a few months, and it's one of those things where like some of the other comic book groups that I belong to, specifically on this one, it's the Omnibus and Collected Editions group on Facebook. All these people were just like singing the praise of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers book that Boom was putting out, and I was just like, no way, man! Like, you can't sell me on it. But I looked at the book at the shop one day, the first trade paperback, It's written by Kyle Higgins, and I'm not positive who does the art. Mine is packed up somewhere from my trip to WonderCon. I was gonna try and get it signed because I liked it that much. I was blown away by how much I liked it, and I mean, like the art's great. The story is actually pretty good. It's not very campy. It's like a pretty like strong take on the characters. Like not in a way where you'd be like you would feel like it's the same thing from the '90s, but yet it does feel like it's kind of been like revamped in a really good way to stay current, to be like something new. Like I don't know. Maybe that's kind of a hard way to explain it, but it's been a really good book. And
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's awesome. And,
Yeah.
and
Nick, have you
all I've
been reading
read,
it since the start?
Yeah,
I
yeah, I
read,
have. I actually, I talked about it the first time I was on the podcast with you guys a little
I
bit.
think you
and
did.
I think
Yeah.
that's what sold me on it. I think is when I
Yeah,
talked to you about it finally. It was like I was like, okay, fine, I'm gonna go out and buy it because
yeah.
Nick.
No, so like I think I told this when I first talked to you guys about it, but like I told you I bought issue 0 kind of not as a joke, but just like kind of like, oh, I want to see what this is, like I will say, like, I mean, like I grew up watching the Power Rangers. It's like kind of like I'm not like a super fan. I don't know everything about like every single series that's ever come out, but I did watch it a lot as a kid, and like it's kind of like my first like memory of watching TV. Like it's just like it's something that's really like stuck with me, and like I've had a really hard time ever since like the book came out expressing how I actually liked it, and like trying to tell people like, yeah, no, it's actually really good, but it wasn't until I went to NYCC that October and I went to the panel, like where they actually first talked about Shattered Grid, and I think that was like right before issue 20 came out. But
Talking
regardless,
about it that long?
huh?
They've been
Yeah,
talking about it
no,
that
that's
long.
that's when they announced it. Yeah, that's when they gave us like the date and like said like issue 25 starts this arc and it's gonna like be crazy and whatever. And like I think I love the way that Kyle Higgins talked about it, because the very first thing that he said in the panel, because that panel was kind of weird because it was Kyle Higgins, a chief creative officer from Saban, some Boom Studios guys, and then it had David Yost and Walter Jones, the Blue and Black Ranger, respectively. And so like I think a lot of people were just there because they thought it was just like a Power Rangers panel in general. And so the first thing that Kyle Higgins said was like, okay, I just want you guys to know, because the guy who was being the speaker and asking all the questions and whatnot kind of said like, a little blurb about the comic and where it was at. And Kyle Higgins was like, okay, well, I'll give you my pitch for it. Here, he's like, I just want people to raise their hands up who didn't know that this was about a comic book. And like, and like half the audience raised their hand, and he was just like, "That's fine." He's like, "Let me tell you about it a little bit." And he went on to talk about it, and the way he described it is kind of perfect to like how I feel, like how it makes me feel. And what he was saying was how when he first got the job, and how he's been really campaigning for the job, and he really wanted to do it from the beginning, I guess, since they got the licensing for it. And he said that he didn't want to do like a dark and gritty, like, crazy reimagining adult version of the Power Rangers. He wanted to do like a version of the Power Rangers that respected the source material, but he wanted to make a version like how it made him feel when he was a kid. And I was like, that makes a lot of sense, because like those episodes and whatnot are a lot more epic and awesome when you're a kid,
Yeah.
and like and so like I really feel like he's so far. I mean, like I know that you are now, Erica. Josh, are you caught up now? Like, are you following the whole thing?
I've read Shattered Grid, and
Yeah,
I mean, at this point, I don't know how far this conversation is going to go. I'm going to say I really liked it,
yeah.
but I haven't read like probably like the second half of the run up until then. I read the first 12, and but I mean, because I only bought the trades, I haven't been reading digitally or anything like that, so
I
I've just
gotcha.
bought them as I've seen them.
Yeah, no, I mean, like it's I feel like so far, I mean, like in that pitch that he gave, I feel like he's really succeeded, and I've really liked what he's been doing the entire time. It's consistently been like, I mean, for 25 issues now, I mean, like been like one of my favorite things to pick up monthly. Like I really enjoy every issue, and like Shattered Grid, like I said, we'll get into it here, but Shattered Grid has been awesome so far. I mean, like, I know we're only one issue in, but like all the lead up and everything has just been, it's transcending itself like into something completely awesome and different now. And like it's pretty awesome, I would say.
Yeah, I don't know how deep we can really get into it because I really do want people to read it. So I don't want to go too much into like spoilers and stuff. So
Yeah.
anybody watching this or listening to this after the fact, I really do want people to go check it out. I binged all 4 of the trades that are out. Then I had to get, single issues to read the rest of the story up to where it is currently because I think the 4th trade goes up to like issue 16 or something like that. I can't remember exactly how many issues are contained in all the trades, but it's like issue 15 or 16. So then I had to go through and read the singles to get up to where it is now. And so it was a bit of an undertaking. Nothing like reading through Invincible all at once, but
yeah, Jesus.
yeah, it was still pretty impressive. But getting through all that story, and what really surprised me about it is my 2 biggest takeaways from reading Power Rangers so far, up to Shattered Grid. My 2 big takeaways are, number 1, as cheesy as Power Rangers can be, whether it's in the TV show from when we were kids or that new movie, which I did like the new movie, and I think there's a lot of good things about it, but it still is kind of cheesy. There's almost no cheese when you get like, other than Rita's kind of cheesy, but other than Rita, when you put the Power Rangers in a comic book, especially the way that they're being handled right now in this series, it's not cheesy at all. Like if you read like maybe that issue 0, you kind of come into it like, I don't know what's the tone going to be like. But by the time you get into like volume 2 and 3, and especially into volume 4 and beyond, there's no cheese. And once you get to that's the arc right after volume 4 that kind of leads into Shattered Grid, there's some really serious, heavy stuff that they're dealing with because this lady comes in and she knows some things that the Power Rangers are pretty surprised for her to know about. And you kind of get some backstory. And when you find out all that, like, it gets really heavy. So I think for something that, when you think of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, right? Like it's impossible not to think of, overdubs and, clunky monsters on, low budget sets and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, once you put it into a comic book, there's no budget restrictions and there's, you create the motion in your mind. So it's as good as the art is. Yeah, any of that kind of cheesiness factor just goes away and it becomes really a lot easier to take seriously.
Yeah. No, I mean, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, the one thing about Shattered Grid I would say is like it came out last week. So I don't necessarily want to spoil it for anyone, because it is still new and it's been one of those books that a lot of people have kind of gone around on Facebook at least saying like I still can't find it, like I know that the press copies cut out about 8 pages because I had originally read it through there, and I was close to asking Ryan Gaumer at Outright Geekery if he had a lot of back issues so I could just try and get caught up real fast, but I didn't. But I would say that like the big reveal in Shattered Grid comes off really strong. I mean like it actually got me like really pumped for like where the series is going to be going. And I'm not a person that's very invested in the property or these characters. I mean, like to me, like they were like really silly on the TV show, it was still like it's an entertaining show. But I mean, it kind of like blows me away that like the way this book is, just because I don't necessarily think I don't really like a lot of the books I've read from Boom. But like I feel like at this point now, like I'm gonna have to start reading Power Rangers, which it just sounds so weird to even say that because but it's really good. It's like a really good story, a good series from what I've read of it.
As like I told you guys, for about like the first year that it was coming out, and I had to go to the comic book store and whatnot, it was at the bottom of the stack. It's like
you don't tell anybody, but I need that Power Rangers.
Yeah. But no, I mean like I mean really like it's something, again, like you guys were saying, I don't want to spoil Shattered Grid or anything, especially since it's so new. But yeah, I mean like the big reveal actually feels like it has consequence and weight, and the way that the story has gone so far, like I really don't know what to expect, and it's really exciting. I mean, like, it just, I don't know if I could really praise it enough. I mean, like I said, it's one of my favorite books that I've been reading for consistently for 25 issues, and like I can't wait to see where it goes. Have either of you guys actually read the sister series, the Go Go Power Rangers, by chance?
I have not read any of that. I thought about it, but I don't know if I can get that invested into Power Rangers comics.
I got you. I got no. Trust me. I got you. I actually didn't read it until I went to that panel actually, and they were kind of talking about it and whatnot, and I was like, that sounds kind of interesting. And at the time, there was only like 3 issues out, so I was like, I could buy those. That's fine. Like check it out. And I've actually stuck with it, and I think we're on issue 9 right now. I think was the last one that came out, and it's pretty good. Like I mean, like I like it a lot. It's a lot more about like the characters at least as opposed to like the big like stuff that's happening in the main series right now. But I actually I will say about what you were saying about Rita, Eric, in the main series, about how she kind of come off a little cheese. Like yeah, that's very true. In the Go Go Power Rangers, I would say she's actually like they make a really big effort of making her very menacing and scary because I think that they're just like that's the only villain they can really work with in that time frame right now, and they do a pretty good job. And like I mean, I hate like saying that you have to read like another supplemental series to really like, and you don't have to read that series to get Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, obviously, but like I will say it's a good supplemental series as far as those go, which normally I don't bother with those and I don't really like them a lot of the time. But it's good. It's good. I've been liking it.
So something I was going to try to do, I actually bought 2 covers of my Mighty Morphin Power Rangers number 25. So I did get this one, which I thought was pretty cool. You can see that it's got all 6 of the Power Rangers on there. And I thought that was a really cool cover. I'm really liking Jason in this series, and I thought that the way that he's kind of center on this was pretty sweet. And then I also was able to grab, they did these polybagged issues, and so I have no idea what's in here, and I was actually just going to open this up right here on the podcast here.
That's cool.
You lucky man.
Yeah. Yeah, these are going for like $20 still bagged.
Yeah, I know.
Is crazy to me. I got it cover price, so it's $5. So
yeah, my shop didn't have that. They had a ton of copies, but they didn't have any of them that were bagged.
I couldn't find any of the polybag either.
I don't know how I'm supposed to open this, and I really don't want to wreck the comic inside, so you guys might have to like play some Jeopardy music while I figure out how to open a bag. Oh, and then I drop it. Oh man, that's exactly what would happen. Is this actually? Look, how many bags are? Oh, never mind. It's only 1 bag.
Oh.
Yeah. Trying to figure out what I got here. Oh, that looks pretty freaking cool. Okay, cool. I've seen it. You guys don't need to, right?
Ah.
Oh.
Those variants look pretty cool.
This is way too complicated, man. Like, I'm working way too hard at this right now. I just want to make that clear. Can you guys tell how difficult this is for me?
Tight to the book.
Huh?
Is it really tight on the book?
No, it's just like it doesn't want to rip, so it's just like all stretchy and stuff. Yeah. Thanks, Henry, for pointing out that I dropped it while I was trying to protect it. I really appreciate you pointing out my stupidity. Still looks pretty good. I'm kind of confused by this cover, so I'll show you guys what it is.
Oh, you got red.
But it looks like he's wearing green and he's got the green saber or sword or whatever.
That's Dracon crushing his helmet.
Oh. Okay, so that makes more sense then.
Yeah.
That cover's rad.
Have you seen like the issue 0 variants? Like the original one? Yeah, those are, I actually have them behind me. But but like yeah, it's basically just a play on that cover, but instead it's just Dracon crushing all their helmets.
This is cool, man. I really like the paper stock. This is heavy stock.
Yeah.
I've been reading these digitally, so like,
I think the whole series has been that stock. It's really nice.
Yeah, the cover
I
is
got
not
the subscription cover on mine.
It's not quite the card stock that we get from Valiant sometimes, but it's pretty nice. Um,
Hey Josh, which subscription cover did you get?
Is there more than one?
I don't know, but I was just wondering which one you got because I got one that was kind of weird. It was the
Mine had
last
like a
one.
yellow, it had like a kind of a weird yellow border, and
That's the one. That's the one I got too. Yeah.
yeah,
yeah, it looks like really old school. I
yeah.
almost picked that one up, but I didn't. So I got a question about the um I got a cool question about oh, Adam must have been behind and now he's like responding to when we announced his name. Anyway, I was getting a question in here about the condition. Now, I don't know what happened. It seems like some idiot dropped the book, so one of these corners has a little bit of a damage to it. I don't
Well,
know
it's a
what
good
kind of
thing that you
moron
got
would
the
do
book to
that.
read and not to collect.
There are some like tiny, tiny, nearly imperceptible spine ticks on it, but nothing bad. I mean, I don't know. It's like a 9.4, 9.6, probably
I think that
9.4.
I think the red one is one of the ones that's going for pretty decent bank.
Cool. Well, hopefully nobody watches this and sees me drop it. I mean, whoever dropped it, I don't know who that would have been, but
Hey,
um,
one thing I wanted to bring up about Power Rangers that's funny to me is my little boy, 4 years old, and I don't know how he even found out about Power Rangers, but he's so excited for it. And every time we go through like Netflix, he's like, "Oh, Power Rangers! Can we watch Power Rangers?" Because they have the TV show on there, and I'm like, "No, well, you're too young to watch like people do like karate and beat each other up in foam suits, you know." But like, it's funny how Nick was like, "Yeah, he makes it. The comic is made so that like how excited you would have been as a kid about it, but like as an adult." And I see that in my son, and I'm just like, "How do you know anything about Power Rangers?" Like, because I know how my kids get into anything. My kids know about like they know who Bloodshot is and Faith. They know about like Marvel stuff. They know like Batman, because who doesn't know Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman? But Power Rangers, I was just like, where did you come up with that? And he watched the
Yeah.
trailer for the movie, for the movie that came out like last year, and he was just going crazy. Like, oh, he's like, can we watch it? Can we please watch it, Dad? And I was like, oh, I don't know, I might have to watch it first, make sure it's not crazy violent. So if it's
You
not
know,
crazy violent, maybe we'll figure out how to let him watch it because he's just like way into it. I mean, and I don't know how he knows about it. It's just crazy. Like there's some kind of weird hive mind where all little kids know about Power Rangers.
kids do that nowadays. They just know about things randomly. It's kind of weird. My son's the same way, and like we'd be scrolling through Netflix stuff, and like he'd see a Power Ranger show and he'd want to watch it, and I'd just be like, no, you have to watch the original.
And that's how I am too. Like because he wants to watch the movie, and I was like, you need to watch like the series I watched when I was a kid. Like we see people in like foam suits get beat up by like ninjas and stuff and all that kind of stuff. You gotta watch. You gotta really like cherish that foam suit body armor era, and then you can watch the new movie that's all nice and polished.
We watched I forget which one it was. It was one of the newer ones within like the past like 5 years, I think. And the theme song actually does a play on the original theme song. And he was just watching it in the other room, and I just like audibly was like, "Oh, like no, can't touch the OG."
No,
oh
and
man.
there's a PlayStation game too that plays the old music. And I let my son watch the trailer for that, and he was just like, "Go, go, Power Rangers!" Just like singing around the house like all day. I was like, "Oh, I just gotta let you watch it. I just have to
In
let you
that new
watch it."
movie, they did play the old theme song when they Megazord up or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's pretty epic. Um, but yeah, I don't know, man. I think it's really weird because I'm definitely going to be buying the Power Rangers issues moving forward. Like the annual is coming out later this month, and then obviously they're going to continue the Shattered Grid event in the normal series. And yeah, I don't know. It's going to be weird being I'm in my almost approaching my mid 30s buying a Power Rangers comic, but it is a good book, and as long as it stays good, I'm going to keep buying. As weird as that is, the only thing that I really have left to say about Shattered Grid without getting into spoilers is I'm curious what you guys think. Like, because there's that big final splash page, right? And I, as much as I know they've been saying like anything can happen. All the Power Rangers are going to get involved, and there's no guarantee who is or isn't going to make it out alive, what relationships are going to be, whatever. So not to give anything away about what happens, but do you guys really think that that last page is going to hold? Because I kind of have a feeling like the next issue is going to come and it's not going to quite be what it seems to be.
Go ahead, Nick.
Okay. Well, when I first read it, it didn't really hit me because I was like, no way, you know, like basically like no. But the more I've thought about it, and the more I've thought about like how the series has been so far, I really wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if it sticks in some way. I don't want to spoil anything, but I mean, like the whole tagline was the idea of like, you know, like you were saying, like anything could happen, no ranger's safe, and all that stuff. That was like literally what they put at the bottom of the picture or whatever. And like, and I think that it could stick in a way. I actually have a theory about that, but I don't want to get into it because it would spoil some things. But yeah, I think it could is the thing is, and at the bare minimum, I believe like Kyle Higgins will make it a big impactful moment, and it will be something that does affect at least a good majority of the characters going forward, whether or not the actual event kind of like sticks like how we saw it in this issue.
See, and I think the way I look at it too is I think like they might stick the landing on this one, you know, because I think that's how you really make a statement on a book like this, you know, it's just to like have it hold true. And in the world of comic books, if something doesn't work out, you can always figure out a way to fix it. So, but I mean, like, it's a pretty big deal. Like, I mean, like, a lot of times comic books get hyped, certain events get hyped up, and you're like, oh, really? Like, is this really going to be like the biggest event ever, you know? Or is this really going to be like such a key moment in this mini series or whatever, you know? Like, Marvel DC, look at any like a big event they do, you know, like, that's how they're all hyped. But this came off like it was cool. I mean, like, this is just an awesome issue. And I don't have a problem with like what happens at the end of it either. So like to me, I feel like the Power Rangers universe is vast enough that they have different versions of them all over the place. And
as kind of illustrated in this issue too. So.
Yeah. And I don't want to go any further than that. But I just think they could stick the landing and it would still be okay.
So I think the only other thing that I have to say, and since it's getting kind of late, I'm probably going to have to get rolling here. But I do want to keep talking about this when the next issue comes out. So I think we might have to have you back, Nick. You're going to be our go-to Mighty Morphin Power Rangers guru.
The Power Rangers commentator. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You can hang out in the background while we talk about our Valiant nonsense, and then get serious when it comes to So the only thing I was going to say about like my feelings on whether or not this big moment is going to have the impact it seems like it is going to is the way that some of the relationships have been building over the last couple arcs. And I know, Josh, you don't have the benefit of that because you kind of went from the first trade straight into Shattered Grid.
Yeah.
So I know, Nick, since you and I both read it all, I'm sure that you know what I'm talking about. The way that the relationships have developed, because there was some stuff that seemed like it was in the works right at the beginning of the series. And now in the last arc or two, we've seen some more development. And I feel like the way that has all played out coming into this issue, if the last page of this issue is what it appears to be, number one, I won't be surprised if it's not. But number two, if it is what it appears to be, that I think could have a massive, massive impact on how this book could move forward. And what I hope doesn't happen is a convenient workaround, right? Like I don't want this to be what happens, and then some alternate reality version makes it, a non-event, right? Like I hope that it has some serious impact. So that was the only other thing I had to say about it.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. And I will say too that just to piggyback on what you just said, I also hope for the same, but there is kind of a reason that I really do believe that it will be a satisfying and good arc is only because one, it's Kyle Higgins. I trust the guy, but like two, If you think about like all the hype that got generated for this issue, so many people are jumping on this series right now because of this issue and because of this event. And to do something like that in issue 1 takes a lot of guts, and let alone like in actuality, I feel like a person picking this up for the very first time, they just go issue 25, like I'm giving it a try. Most of like it's hard because it's hard not to spoil what's going on, but but like I think with the resolution of this issue, a lot of people like who just picked it up for the hell of it would be like, okay, well, I have no reason to read this now. And and like and so I kind of feel like unless if they were like truly captivated.
I feel like it's the opposite. Like if I had just picked this up and I read this issue, I would have been like, oh fuck, I have to pick up the next issue. Because I got to see.
With Eric. Yeah, I thought like it's such a good cliffhanger ending on this. So I was like, I want to know what happens. Like, yeah. I don't see how you. I mean, I know people do that. You know, like sometimes like they just want to know the thing and then they don't really care about what happens afterward. But
yeah,
it was just so well done the way that everything happens and everything transpires. That why would you not want to know what happens the next issue? You know.
I mean, yeah. I guess I'm thinking more of just like the common person like coming off and being like, oh, like let me see this, because I mean, like I know a lot of people at least that I've been seeing posting online like who don't even like read comics. They just like Jason David Frank and like Power Rangers and stuff like that, and they're like giving this a shot now, you know. Like
this is a good time to give it a shot because Lord Draken or Drakon or however you want to say it, like that promo video that they did with Jason David Frank was fucking cool.
It was cool.
Really
I watched it after we talked about it, and like yeah, it was pretty sweet. I liked it.
All right. Well, I really appreciate you coming on, Nick. Thanks again for another fun episode, Josh. Thank you, everybody who is watching live with us. Congrats again to Sean and to Adam for winning. Can't wait to do our next giveaway. We'll give some notice so we can build some hype and get some people involved with that giveaway too. But yeah, thanks again, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I've been Eric Baumgard.
I'm Josh Rathbun. And if you get a chance, follow us on the internet, Facebook, Twitter, email us. And if you can, wherever you listen to us at, review us.
There we go. And you, Nick, also.
Oh yeah, and I'm Nick. I'm Nick. Yeah.
Thanks, everybody. You guys have a good one. May the power be with you, or whatever it is the Power Rangers say, and stay valiant.
Power Rangers, man.